then I'm having a conversation with someone last night, and we're talking about they're going to vote for the Senate leader today.
Uh-huh.
And he said, who do you think it's going to be? And I said, well, Chris thinks it's going to be Thune. And he says, God, I hope not. He's the same as McConnell. And I said, oh, like, yeah, okay. Like, how do you mean the same? And he said, liberal. And I said, you think Mitch McConnell's a liberal? Like,
Right.
and he said, yeah. I said, why? And he said, well, he didn't spend any money on Cruz, but he sent all that money to Larry Hogan in Maryland.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, that might have just been strategy, right? Like he didn't think Cruz needed it. He thought he could flip a seat with a popular former governor in Maryland. Maybe it was strategy. I said, also, it's probably because he fucking hates Ted Cruz. But I said, I'm not sure that makes him a liberal. And I said, why do you think he's a liberal? Like, what is a liberal to you? And he said, well, he wants to keep everything the same. And I said, I think that's like literally the definition of a conservative, isn't it?
Right.
Like, and he said, well, I just don't like him. And Chris, I shit you not, something flipped in my mind. I realized that starting with Reagan did this very well. He used the word liberal as an epithet. Like it was a pejorative. And now it's the same thing with Rhino. It isn't that it has any real meaning. It's just meant to be an epithet of, I don't like you. And now I'm labeling you as something I think I don't like. And
so can I do a great deed?
Yeah. Yep.
I got a
Please,
great,
yeah.
I can't believe you brought this up because I was actually talking to somebody about this. So the DNA on liberal. So one of my mentors, a guy named Arthur Finkelstein, who I've talked about before, was famous in the 70s and 80s, 90s, but 70s and 80s for using the word liberal as a pejorative. And he's a liberal. That's it. He's and he took a ton of shit about it. And, you know, we would even do races where we would say, as insurance commissioner, Chris Mottola raised insurance rates 23% on the average drive. That's liberal.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And it didn't matter what it is. You ended with that's liberal. And
yeah,
his theory was, well, I'm doing that because the fewest voters in a survey self-identify as liberal. So if you've only got 23% of 70% saying that there's something, then you can kind of assume that the other 70%, 80% don't agree with them. And he said, if they were conservative, I would be saying he raised taxes 23%. That's conservative. He said, it's like you said, it's a meaningless, I mean, you know, philosophically, Arthur was very philosophical and had thought this stuff through, but as a functional piece of, like, I work in politics and I've got tactics and strategy, it was simply pejorative. It was anything, you know, my dog got pregnant because the neighbor's dog got off leash. That's liberal.